Well, what a first weekend of the NBA playoffs has it been? We saw a bunch of big games, a bunch of blowouts, some closer games, some exciting games, some games that came down to the wire, some games that went into OT. We got a little bit of everything in these first couple of games. So start out the playoffs, and honestly, aside from the couple of blowouts we had, you really can't ask for much more as an NBA fan. Because you got a little bit of everything, especially on Saturday, which was undoubtedly the best day of the playoffs so far. You had a bunch of close games, a bunch of close matchups, and a bunch of interesting storylines that came from this game. But then you have Sunday where it's a bunch of blowouts, but you have a really good game towards the end. And I'll be breaking it all down in this video right here as we are overreacting to the playoffs. Now, disclaimer, this is going to be more of a podcast type episode, a type of video that you just want to put your phone down, might want to do something, just have it playing on the background. Or if you don't just lock in and just listen to me talk, I appreciate it. Before I get too deep into it, first thing I want to say is make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. You're going to like this video. Hopefully you like my analysis of the game so far. And you're going to like some of the videos I have done in the past where I gave a guide to my first round predictions for the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. Got videos like that. Just check out the rest of the channel. But yeah, first game I'm going to talk about, just to go ahead and get it out the way, is the Thunder versus the Grizzlies, which was a slaughter. It was very, very embarrassing from the Grizzlies' point of view. The Grizzlies at one point were down by 50. I think it was 52 or 56 points in this game. That's embarrassing. If you are a team, especially in the Western Conference, but if you are a team that was good enough to make it to the NBA playoffs, you wanted to play in, you played good enough in the regular season, and you were able to make the NBA playoffs, there's no reason why you should be losing by 56 points in a playoff game. Now, I get it. Oklahoma City, phenomenal team. They had a great game. Schematically, they played great. The world players played great. Everybody played great. But there is no reason why the Memphis Grizzlies should have lost by that many points. There's no reason why you should only have 3 players that make, I think it was like 2 field goals. You only had 3 players who made 2 field goals. That's embarrassing. That should never happen, especially when the Thunder's best player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, didn't even score 20 points. That's embarrassing, and even when you watch the game, it was just disgusting. Like, nobody can make a shot. OKC was just better. They dominated them in every facet of the game. They outscored them, out-rebounded them, they defended them really well. Memphis couldn't really stop much that they had going on the offensive end of the floor. Jaren Jackson had one of the worst games I have ever seen in my life from a player of his caliber, where I think he only scored like 2 points. Just a horrible game for a player who one was arguing at the start of the year was the best player on this Grizzlies team. And for him to go out first game of the playoffs and do a stinker like that, it's embarrassing. Now, nobody was expecting the Grizzlies to win this first game. There's not even a lot of people who were expecting them to win the entire series, but nobody expected them to get embarrassed like that. It's just kind of very sad to see a team just play that bad, especially in the playoffs. Like, you ever make it all the way to the playoffs, that's phenomenal, but you can't get embarrassed like that. I just don't feel like if you're a playoff team of a certain caliber, you should be getting blown out like that, especially because Memphis isn't a bad team. However, I understand they've had a bunch of turmoil going on with the firing their head coach, but 56 points is just horrible. Next game we're going to get into is none other than the Cavaliers versus the Miami Heat. First game in the Cavaliers versus the Heat was pretty good. For the first 3.5 quarters, it was very entertaining. The Heat did what I believe a playoff team should do. They kept it close. They kept it close and they kept it competitive. Made the Cavs really play and earn that win. Now, I know the storyline in the game is how great Ty Jerome was. We're going to get into that later. But I just want to point out that the Heat played really good in this game. Now, obviously, it got down to the point to where the Heat weren't good enough. You're just not good enough. The Cavaliers have been the machine that they are all season. Been one of the best teams in the NBA the entire season, and they showed exactly that in this game, which is why by the time the fourth quarter came, it really wasn't much to watch. However, for the first couple of quarters, the Heat kept it competitive. They kept it close, playing the Cavs real tough, making the Cavs earn every shot they had, and just making them work every possession. But Ty Jerome goes out, scores 28 points. He just explodes towards the end of the game. In the game, Darius Garland hit a big three. That was the last thing I saw because at that point, the Cavs were up by who knows how many points. The Cavs took care of business. I mean, it's really that simple. The Cavs took care of business. It was a great game. I will say for the Heat, one thing I enjoy was seeing Bam Adebayo playing like the player that I always wish he could turn into. He scored 24 points, had 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Pretty good stat line. But just watching Bam out there just seemed like he had more initiative to kind of go out there and score. My issue that I've had with Bam in the past is that Bam just really is out there. He's very timid. He's always looking to pass first. He doesn't really take advantage of his skills that he has. This game, I saw him do that a little bit, and I was pretty impressed. But yeah, I mean, there really ain't too much to talk about from this game. Miami got smacked. The Cavs are up 1-0. Now, let's go to the 2 seeds. Let's go to the Boston Celtics versus Orlando. This is another game kind of similar to the Cavs versus Heat one where the Magic played the Celtics close. Well, not close, but they played the Celtics tough. But in the day, the Celtics are a playoff team. They just look better. And they just beat them. I mean, in a game where Paolo's your leading scorer, he puts up 36 on pretty good efficiency. He's your leading three-point shooter. He's not even a three-point shooter. He gets a double-double. He gets you 4 assists. Only has 4 turnovers. I mean, you can't really ask for a much better game. Franz Wagner scores 23 points. You can't really ask for a much better game from your top 2 players. But then you see the fall off. Jonathan Isaac scores 7. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has a horrible game. Scores 6 points. Wendell Carter scores 4. And just from there, it just got worse and worse. And Magic really couldn't do anything. They couldn't score. And, of course, when you have someone like the Celtics where they're a championship caliber team, a lot of people have them as favorite to come out the East. They win. They beat them. Derek White is Derek White. He scores 30 points. He explodes. He shows why he is arguably the best role player in the entire NBA. And he kind of, or quote-unquote, leads the Celtics to this game of victory. 30 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I mean, 58, 7 for 12 from 3, just lights out. A game where your top 2 stars, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, had very mediocre games, especially for their standards. And you still go out there and win. I mean, you really can't even ask for too much more out of that. And yeah, now let's get into one of the more exciting games on Sunday. Actually, I ain't gonna say the only good game, but probably, arguably the better game on Sunday. That's none other than Houston versus Golden State. This game, throughout majority of it, was actually pretty close. I mean, not pretty close. It was actually pretty sizable margin. Houston goes out, they win the first quarter. Warriors go on a big run in the second quarter. They win the second quarter by 16, and they're up by a lot at halftime. But then the Rockets start to fight back. I think the Rockets were down by like 20 or so points going into the fourth quarter. But then they just start to fight back. They nipped down at the lead. Alperen Sengun had a very great game. Amen Thompson had some very good plays down the end of the stretch. But in the end, Golden State wins because Steph Curry plays lights out. Jimmy Butler gives you 25 points. Has some very key possessions as well. And the Warriors end up taking it. However, there's some interesting takeaways from this game. First thing is, Alperen Sengun was amazing. Alperen Sengun, if I look at the box score, Alperen Sengun has 26 points, 3 steals, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist. He was very big for them. In the game where Fred VanVleet struggled, Dylan Brooks doesn't play very well. Amen Thompson, Jalen Green plays horrendously. Amen Thompson was very good. Jabari Smith right behind him, giving them a lot of hustle and just being what we know Jabari Smith Jr. to be throughout his career. He played pretty good, and I can definitely say that this was, about as good as I can expect for the Rockets to play. Hopefully, Jalen Green can step it up in the next game. 7 points, atrocious efficiency from beyond the arc. It's just, I don't know. Fred VanVleet doesn't play very well, but this isn't not anything new. You know, the Rockets, they kind of have struggled in the half-court offense all season, and that's just what happens. And then even when you look at some key things, the Warriors make more threes, even free throw line. But what's interesting is the Rockets. One thing that the Rockets have to do in order to win this series, just because of how much of a size advantage they have over the Warriors, is win the rebounding battle. And I was of the opinions, well, some other people I heard that if they can win that rebound battle, they can win the game. Or not win the game, but to give them an improved chance in the series. And don't get me wrong, it's just game one. Anything can happen. Some more adjustments need to be made, and players are going to play better as the series goes on. But one thing they have to do is win that rebound battle, and they did. 52 rebounds, 22 offensive rebounds. That's phenomenal. One thing you can't do is lose a turnover battle. And when the Warriors have 11 turnovers, the Rockets have 16. Warriors have 25 points off turnovers. Rockets have 23. 16 of these points were fast break points as well. When you turn the ball over, you look like the young team that the Rockets did, where they just had some bullhead plays. They're turning the ball over. They kind of just look very flustered at moments. Fred VanVleet isn't playing very well. Ahmed isn't playing very well. Jalen Green isn't playing very well. And you lose a turnover battle to a team that you don't want to lose that type of battle to, it's just not going to go very well. You did great rebounding, using your side advantage, got a lot of points up in the paint, did really good when it came to rebounding, but you can't sit up here and turn the ball over 16 times. That's how you end up losing 95-85. Next game, hopefully they make some adjustments and they can come out and they can win. Who knows? Game 2, I'm very optimistic, very curious to see what Ime Udoka tries to change. And he did call his players out in that post. Well, not call them out, but he just said they have to play better, and they do have to play better. The next game that we're going to break down is the 3-6 matchups. First 3-6 matchup is none other than the Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves, where the Minnesota Timberwolves played as great as a first game as you could anticipate. As great of a game one as you could anticipate on the road, the Minnesota Timberwolves played. They were just phenomenal all around. They shot the lights out from the three, played great defense. They only allowed Luka to really be able to be comfortable getting to the basket and just scoring. And even then, Luka, they didn't give Luka anything he wanted. Luka was just being Luka, making a bunch of difficult shots. But Luka was really the only person the Lakers really played extremely well. Nobody else really played that well. Luka's the only one who looked comfortable. You know, everybody else, and that's including LeBron, Austin Reeves, they kind of just looked uncomfortable, you know, a little jittery, not like they were fully ready. And when you do that against a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves, where everybody plays very cohesively, they shoot the lights out from beyond the arc. As they shot, hold on, give me a second, let me find it. They shot 51% from the field and 50% from three. You know what I'm saying? You can't really, they outscore you on points off turnovers. They have a bunch of fast break points. They outscore you on points in the paint. You can't really, as a Lakers fan, of course, there are certain things that I think you can improve on. There are some things in J.J. Redick's scheme that I feel like he could change, you know, just certain couple sacrifices. Because one thing I know is they were helping over a lot. They were kind of shifting too much attention to whoever had the ball, shifting the defense towards certain players, where it's like, if a Rudy Gobert has the ball, if Julius Randle has the ball and LeBron's on them, you don't really want to be so predicated on trying to stop that. If he scores over LeBron's a tough bucket, okay, cool, it is what it is. You just live with it. If Rudy Gobert has the ball, you don't want to shift your defense over to him. I understand why you want to help, but I don't think that players like Julius Randle, I don't think every single player in the Timberwolves is worthy of such aggressive help defense. But Minnesota takes advantage of it. They win the game. Like I said, very phenomenal game. And nobody on Minnesota even played extremely well. Anthony Edwards didn't have this phenomenal game. I mean, he had his moment. You know, his moments where he's flexing Luka's face, doing a little three-point thing. I mean, he has his moments. But 22 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Normal Anthony Edwards game. Jaden McDaniels, he's their leading scorer, 25, 9 rebounds. I mean, these are very normal games from these players. Nothing that was really extraordinary. But hey, the Lakers, I feel like there's some things. I wouldn't panic. We knew they were going to have a size disadvantage. Just kind of got to play with your matchups a little bit more. I feel like defensively, there are some adjustments you can make. Offensively, you kind of just have to. Luka's going to get his stuff off. you try to use LeBron and Reeves and their advantage as just overall players on that floor. Just use them. You know what I'm saying? You're not really going to be able to out muscle or out big the Timberwolves because you just don't have it like that. But you have a coaching scheme. You have the two of the smartest players in the entire NBA on your team. Just try to make way with that. Yeah. Of course, the other 3-6 matchup, which was one of the better games, was the Pistons versus the Knicks. The Knicks played very well, obviously, as they win the game. The Pistons, they played pretty well for it to be a game one, but the Pistons they look like a young team. They look like the Pistons, a very young team, very aggressive, kind of just doing some bonehead things at times that kind of, as a Pistons fans, can make you very upset. Karl Towns has a very good game defensively. Jalen Brunson plays very well. The Knicks play very well overall. The Pistons, they play well. K started to pick it up towards the end, but the Pistons just look like a young team. I believe that's really the main reason why they lost. They win the rebound battle, great, but you have 19 turnovers. You can't have 19 turnovers in a playoff game. You can't allow 25 points off of turnovers, and you can't allow yourself to get outscored in the paint, 62-46. Just not something you can really do. And yeah, I mean, they didn't really shoot horribly. They, nobody really played horrendously. Tobias Harris had a really good game. But overall, you just got to limit those turnovers. You got to be smarter, be more mature when you got the ball. The Knicks, they've been here before. OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson has a great game. Karl Towns has a great game, as I mentioned. That double big lineup really seemed to punish the Pistons. That's why the Knicks got so many points in the paint. It's just, I'm still like, this doesn't change my outlook on the series, though. I had the Knicks winning. I think the Knicks are going to play phenomenally. But I think, as the series goes on, especially what I've seen from K in those last couple of minutes, I'm not really too worried. I'm not really too worried. Next matchup that I want to talk about, 3-6 matchup, is none other than the, let me make sure I have it right. 4, let's go to the 4-5 matchups. First one, Indiana versus Milwaukee. Indiana dominated. Tyrese Halliburton doesn't have as great of a game, but Pascal Siakam just had his way, just taking advantage of every single mismatch that was on him, because there was a lot of mismatches on him. That's why he had such a great game. Took advantage of all of them. The Milwaukee Bucks, outside of Giannis, nobody was doing anything. Brook Lopez played horribly. He was getting taken advantage of on defense. Kyle Kuzma had probably the worst game I've ever seen from somebody in the playoffs. Just was non-existent. He was better off not even playing, if we're being honest. And Indiana just took this game very easily. It really didn't. It kind of makes me shift kind of how I think the series is going to go. Maybe Indiana beats them in 5. Maybe they sweep them. I mean, if the Bucks are playing like this, barring Dame comes back, which he could come back game 3, game 4, I don't know. Milwaukee is just not really looking good, especially with just how much the Pacers dominated. They were just dominant all game. The defensive scheme, not having so many mismatches on Pascal really did not help them at all. And on Miles Turner, it didn't help them at all because all they're doing is taking advantage of it. And when you don't adjust that over the course of the game, Doc Rivers, that's what happens. You get handled. And finally, the best game of the series is, that has been so far of game 1, none other than Denver versus the Clippers. This game is a game that goes into overtime. 112 to 110 really came down to the last shot. Russell Westbrook has a very, very phenomenal game. Hits a big 3 at the end of the game. But, not in the game, at the end of regulation. But as Russ gives, he takes. He gets the ball in that final possession. Has a very horrible possession. He's just fumbling the ball. Got hands in his cookie jar. He just does all that. Doesn't really go well, but then he shows up really big in that overtime. Jokic has a great game. Jamal Murray doesn't have the best of a game. The Clippers, they turn the ball over a lot, 20 turnovers. Kind of something I'm noticing throughout this playoff. 20 turnovers. But if I'm the Clippers, I'm not worried. You have 20 turnovers. That's very uncharacteristic. Now, granted, majority of turnovers came from your better players, not James Harden. James Harden, usually, he was very clean with the ball, very good. More so from Kawhi and other players. You have to clean that up. And I'm sure with someone like Tyronn Lue, I don't expect Kawhi Leonard to have 7 turnovers again. And I don't expect Denver to force the Clippers to make that many mistakes again. So it doesn't really change my outlook on the series too much. You know, it's game 1. I'm not going to sit up here and just, you know, wave the white flag already. But the Clippers, with you scoring, I mean, with you having 20 turnovers, some of your better players not having the best of the game, Norman Powell not really playing very well. You know, you just kind of have to just, you know, watch the film, come back next game, which I believe is, you know, today, on Monday. And you just kind of got to play better. But yeah, that's my reactions to game 1. That's how I felt. That's just some things I noticed. There's some things you noticed. If there's some things that change your predictions that you saw that you want to speak on, leave it down below in the comments. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy it. But that's all I got. And until next time, peace.